Okay, so this is about the formation of cave, arch, stack, stump. And actually what I'm going to do is put some arrows in there because this is a sequence. And if you're describing the formation of these, you want to be picking up on the sequence of one to the next. So I want you to imagine that we have got a headland sticking out into the sea. And if you could just watch this for a moment without drawing it. There's our headland sticking out in the sea, so there's sea all around it. And I want you to imagine that somewhere on there's an area of weakness, probably a crack in the cliff. So if there was a crack in the cliff, what would happen is that the waves that are slamming against this headland through the process of hydraulic action, so they're slamming in, compressing air in the cracks, causing other cracks to appear. Abrasion, the waves are chucking pebbles in the waves on the stormy days at it, and they're starting to eat away. And what will happen over time is the where there was a crack, it will turn into a cave. Okay, and it erodes and erodes and erodes, and we end up with a cave. Now, again, what probably is happening on the other side of this headland is there is another cave there, because obviously the crack may go all the way through. Well, eventually what will happen is that cave will meet up with the cave on the other side, and it will form an arch. Okay, so it will go all the way through. So you'll end up with an archway, and you will be able to see on the other side the sea. So we go all the way through. So there'll be that great moment where two caves back to back form, and eventually all of this will fall down. You'll get an arch like Durdle Door. Now, over time again, there's more erosion here, a bit of erosion here, and eventually there's weathering at the top as well. And eventually this part of the cliff at the top becomes unstable and falls down. So we end up with this gone, and we're now down to having a stack here, nothing in the middle, just the sea, and then the rest of the headland here. So you've got a stack, and over time this stack will get eroded down, 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 until eventually all of this is gone and you end up with just a little stump. Okay, so that's the process, but we're going to draw it in a row. So if you imagine, let's use the same title, recycle the title. So what we often see is the whole thing in a row. So you'll see an area where you might have a cave that probably has got a crack running through it, an arch, and then a stack, and then a stump. And if we just put in the horizon, this is what we're seeing. So let's just think about the sequence one more time. The cave forms first of all, usually where there's a weakness. If the cave is forming in a headland, so this is the headland, if we would think back to headlands and bays, this is a bit of hard rock sticking out. So the cave forms first of all, and then eventually two caves forming back to back through a headland will meet and form an arch. Now that archway eventually will fall down, so here, once upon a time, there will have been an arch, but it's fallen down and it leaves a stack. And then the stack used to be like that, and then over time it will erode down to become a stump. But the whole headland used to be all the way across here, and over time it erodes back with an arch, and then the arch falls down, creates a stack, and the stack goes down and becomes a stump. So this headland has moved back through time, and if we come back in a few thousand years, probably we'll find that that's gone, that there's a stump here, there may well be a new arch here, and again it goes back and back and back, and we'll end up with just a row of stumps, and eventually it will all be gone. And that is due to erosion at the cliff, at the coast. And again, as you can imagine, you wouldn't get one of these made of clay. These are made of hard rock, such as limestone, granite, possibly chalk. And local examples would be obviously Durdledore, which is made of limestone, Portland limestone. And some examples of local stacks and stumps would be Old Harry and Old Harry's Wife near Studland.